Hi, this is Ike from Groovy Entertainment. Today we got another book to read for you. Today's book is Daniel and the Lion Den from 1987. So let's get started. In the days when was king of Babylon, the land of Israel and Babylon was at war. Finally, after a great battle, conquered Israel and captured a great city, Jerusalem. Ordered an officer to bring a number of Israelites boys back to Babylon. Among those taken was a boy named Daniel. Each day, as the king had commanded, the boys were served the choicest food and wine. But Daniel asked permission to eat only vegetables and drink only water. He did not want to eat the king's food because doing so was against God's law. God caused the king officer to look kindly on Daniel. After that, Daniel did not have to eat the king's food. God was pleased with Daniel for obeying his law. He gave Daniel wisdom and ability to understand dreams. At the end of 3 years, Daniel and three of his friends were chosen to serve the king. The king found Daniel and his three friends wiser than all the magicians, sorcerers, and wise men in the kingdom. Had dreams that troubled them and kept him from sleeping. He sent for his magician, sorcerer, and wise men. The king wanted the wise men to tell him what his dreams meant, but the wise men could not do it. Became angry. He ordered his soldiers to kill all the wise men in the kingdom. Then the soldiers began their search for the wise men, and they went to find Daniel and his friends to kill them as well. But Daniel persuaded the officer in charge to let him talk with the king. Daniel said to the king, "If you will wait till tomorrow, I will tell you not only the meaning of your dreams, I will tell you what your dreams I will tell you what your dreams agreed." Daniel went home and he and his friend prayed to God. The, that night God showed Daniel the king dreamed in a vision. The next day Daniel told the king what he had dreamed and what the dream meant. The king bowed to Daniel and honored him. Then says, "Surely your God is the God of gods, since he caused you to be able to explain this mystery." Met Daniel governor, made Daniel governor over Babylon and chief of all the wise men. Daniel's three friends was appointed to help him rule. The king had another dream, and he sent for Daniel. When Daniel heard dreams, he was frightened, but the king told Daniel to say what the dream meant. So Daniel said, "You will be driven away from your people. You will live with the animals and eat grass like the cattle. 7 years will pass. Then you will recognize that God rules over kings." One year later, was looking out over Babylon and thinking how great his city was. A voice from heaven said, "Your kingdom had been taken from you. You will be driven away from your people." All that Daniel had told the king immediately came true. Was driven away from his palace, he lived with the animals and ate grass like the cattle. His hair grew like eagle's feather, and his nails like bird claws. So lived for 7 years, but after the 7 years had passed, he prayed and honored God. Then he became king once more. Soon died. His son became king, but did not honor God. One day gave a banquet. A hand suddenly appeared and began writing on the wall in front of him. All the guests were frightened, but none of them could read the writing. Then the queen remembered Daniel and sent for him. Daniel, it said, had not served God as his father had learnt to do. Then he read the writing on the wall. He said, God had put an end to your kingdom. It had been given to your enemies. That very night, was killed and became king, appointed Daniel and 2 other men to governor the kingdom. Soon found that Daniel was a better governor than the others, wished to appoint Daniel to govern the entire kingdom by himself. That made the other governors angry. They tricked into making a new law. Any person who prayed to anyone but the king would be thrown into a den of lions. Daniel knew about the new law, but he still prayed to God 3 times a day as his custom. The other governors found Daniel praying. They told that Daniel had broken the law, and they said that Daniel should be thrown into the lion den. Was sorry, he tried to think of a way to rescue Daniel, but he could not. So Daniel was brought into the lion den. A large stone was rolled across the opening to still him in. Could not sleep all night. He rose at dawn and ran to the lion den. He called out, Daniel, has your God been able to save you? Daniel answered, my God sent his angels and shut the lion's mouth. The stone was rolled away from the opening, and Daniel walked out. With overjoyed, he commanded that the other governors be thrown into the lion den, and he ordered all his people, his kingdom to worship the living God of Daniel, who had delivered his servant from the power of the lion. So that was Daniel in the Lion Den from 1987. So if you like, subscribe, share, and comment, have a groovy day. Another video coming out real soon.